Are we ready? This is the, if I fall in now, it's to be deeply upset.
We're just on the verge. That's it.
Oh yeah, these are adjusting the words.
Go.
Upstream as well. Look at that. That's crazy.
It's quick.
Any splashback? Oh my god! Yes! Right, coming into land. Time to collect my sign and load up. Well, what a feeling! Made a boat, 3 days. And off we go. Oh, gotta go. So I've had a first mechanical failure. I had stupidly thought that I could get away with one screw there. Apparently not the case, so that's pulled out. Definitely need to get something bigger in there. So I have moored up on this fallen bit of willow, and I'm going to get my toolbox out of the black bag and right, off we go. So I expected as much. I looked on a load of satellite footage to see what the conditions were like, and it's yes, a tree down. This normally that'd be fine in the kayak, but this is just really very tall and won't fit underneath very easily. Made it through by skin of teeth onwards, trying to find a place to sleep for tonight. Be nice if I could sleep in a boat. Ooh, good idea. So it's coming to the end of the first few hours, and I found a small little beach here, shingle beach, and I think I'm going to try and get out here and see if there's a good place to pitch the tent for the night before I design a in-boat sleeping arrangements. So yesterday I worked out that there wasn't enough power getting into the water, and it was because only the tips of the paddles were in the water. So I wanted to put more paddle in the water. So now I've done that. However, when it's going forward, the paddle needs to be on its backward journey all of the way. Otherwise, it creates a sort of momentary splash. So that would create a splash as it stops the water, and then only then will it begin to push it there. So I'm not quite sure what the solution is. I'll do some experimenting. So the tip of this oar describes an oval shape, and in order to make sure there is no forward splash, I think that oval needs to be tilted backwards like that. Therefore, this top mount needs to move as far back as possible. I'm also going to add some extra brackets there to stiffen these up. They've just got too much flex in them, and I think that could be where some vibration is allowed to come in, or maybe exacerbated by. So I'm going to pop those in. That one's good, very good actually, but this one not so good. So I am going to stiffen it up somewhat. So I've got a particularly weedy patch of river here, and I just want to show how well it performs in these conditions where there's stuff in the water. That's going backwards and then forwards. This is out of the way, treadles it down. Yeah, works really well. So, second mechanical failure, it's plopped off its sprocket. So, no power is getting back there. Ooh, is it back on? Close. I can probably get it back. Yeah, back in action with the use of an oar just to guide the chain on. I think maybe the chain is just a bit too loose. I'm just allowing that shift. Or maybe I've just been going a bit too fast. Sloppy rope keeping, it's got all tangled, and I'm going to have to do a trim job because that's too tangled otherwise. God, it is so windy, so incredibly windy, but it's making good progress, and yeah, I definitely wouldn't be able to do this without a paddle system. It's going strong back there. The chain has come off a few times, but a little bit of oar intervention helps it get back on track. And I think I'm going to have to do some surgery on the system to try and make it a little bit better. But not until later today. For now, I'm just taking the power off a little bit. And I'm going to try and do a bit of surgery on the mechanism. It's a massive goose poo. So this front frame is twisted. I assume these brackets were made the same, or I assumed I made the brackets the same. They're not, so the whole front frame is skewed. I think it's causing the chain to pop off at untoward moments. So I think what I'm going to do is try and de-skew the frame and maybe put some nylon chocks in just to make sure that the chain is guided nicely in and out of this back sprocket, and maybe even the other ones too. So after some tweaking, it's even under sort of a lot of force, it seems to be behaving well. Bit of backsplash there. Wowee. Ooh, that was a much needed sleep. I was totally shattered after... Oh, sorry. I was totally shattered after the first full day on the water. I'm feeling quite sunburnt. Nice little puddle in there. Need to bail it out and then load up. On the damp side this morning. The ghastly duck mechanism is working an absolute treat. This is at sort of optimum speed or optimum sort of force. Any more and sometimes the gear starts to which is okay. It makes a horrible clanking noise and might do some damage for the longer term. Pretty pleased with it. Hopefully this rain stops at some point. It's wet. I'm so incredibly impressed by how kind and generous and supportive people are being. I've just been given a bacon sarnie, 2 beers and some crisps. What more could you want? Absolute heaven. So, so nice. Can't keep up. Oh. Oh. Oh, it's getting too splashy. Woo! I've just shot through Oxford. I mean, it was quick. I thought it was going to be a lot longer than that. It was amazing. Such an incredible reception from people. Curiosity, questions, donations, people wanting to get in contact in the future. Just so, so nice. Very happy indeed. It's very wet and one is feeling quite soggy. So we've got quite a lot of water accumulating. Let's just shuffle that about so you can see it. And then also at the back. So I'm using my very fine water bottle, adapted water bottle to bail out. I think I might have found a spot. Promising, doesn't it? Red, dry, maybe? Maybe that's pushing it, maybe just damp. Thank goodness, I think this is me for the night. That little green patch there looks ideal. Very, very, very soggy indeed. Well, everything is thoroughly sodden. The tent, even after I've packed up, is soaking wet. My rain jacket is soaked. My puffer is soaked. However, it's a beautiful, slightly misty morning. I'll pack up, see if I can make a roof for the dastardly duck and go from there. I've got this parachute material, which I think should be enough for some sort of rain cover, at least to sort of deflect it. I've just had my preconceived ideas challenged. So I was passing underneath a rather dodgy looking bridge with lots of graffiti and a bit sort of sinister, and there was a group of around sort of 6 spotty youths doing something, and I thought, oh, I'll take a wide berth here just in case, you know, they decide to use me as target practice or something like that, you know. This is not a very nice sort of set of thoughts. I mean, they're currently screaming back there. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but they're, yeah, doing something anyway. And when I went past, they said, "What does it say on the back?" I said, I'm going from the source of the Thames all the way down to the sea for charity. And they said, "Oh my God, well done." And they gave me a big round of applause and said, "Good luck and wish me on my way." And it is certainly not what I was expecting. And just a nice reminder that things aren't necessarily as they seem sometimes. Sometimes they are, but sometimes they're not. So yeah. Preconceived ideas suitably challenged for the evening. so I think it's time to show everyone, I think, around the boat in detail. So we'll start with the dastardly duck propulsion system at the back there, which is vigorously paddling away, and it's made up of a bike which belonged to my father when I was a child. I'm pretty sure that's what the origin of that particular bike. And then down there, it's got, you can't really see behind the rubbish, but down there are two post angle grinded back wheels of bikes as well to act as pulleys. And then here we've got the frame of my sister's bike from when we were children, and yeah, pedaling away quite gently at the front because there's a difference in gear ratios between the front and the back. And then steering, we have the Thames's finest, highly flexible willow. I mean, it's incredible stuff the way it flexes. And it's forming a very, very comfortable armrest and tiller holder. And you just sort of give it a push one way and then give it a push the other way, and around you go. It's very effective at speed, but at low speeds it obviously doesn't really do anything. Then the seat I'm on, it's not sure you can see it. Let's try and get my jacket out of the way. It's got an adjustable back, so I can adjust the angle on the back, and it's covered in packaging, sort of that cellulose squidgy stuff. It's actually really quite comfy. The boat itself is made up of 2 sheets of marine ply, 6mm marine ply, and covered in epoxy. And I would say covered badly in epoxy. The first set of epoxy I put on was great. The second was a panic buy on Amazon. And it hadn't fully set by the time we'd set off. Plus it was some dodgy stuff for making moulds rather than actually covering boats in. And I think it's porous. And so it's allowing water in places. Let's see if you can see that. The discoloration on the sides. It's also around sort of bolt holes and things where I haven't properly sealed as well. So water is making its way into the marine ply, which is not good at all. With excess amounts of water in the marine ply, although it is meant to be capable of withstanding moisture, it will debond with the epoxy, and the bottom might just fall off. So it's not ideal. And then the view out the front is very tranquil this evening. After an absolute dousing yesterday when I got drenched, this evening is beautiful and calm, and I'm literally the only person on the water. It's I think about 8 o'clock in the evening. I'll be going for another 2 hours or so until it gets dark. Feeling quite bleary-eyed this morning. It's I think about 5:30. It's the most incredible day, but I haven't had breakfast. I sort of rushed away from my camp spot because I definitely wasn't meant to be there. It was on a public footpath. So one needs a little bit of a wake up. But what a beautiful morning. Yesterday I ran very low on battery, so I decided that it was essential to spend the night somewhere where there was power, so that I could charge up my battery pack and my phone. And so I'm in a campsite. In a campsite which is completely deserted except for me in this particular field, which is really nice. I've had a shower, thank God. Looked in the mirror. Yeah, so this morning I'm going to be packing up and trying to get as close to the end of the freshwater Thames as possible. My whole body now begins to hurt, and my knees especially are beginning to just ache from the repetitive just round and round for like 12 hours a day. So let's see how we go. Right, on with the day. I'm going to try and dry my tent out. It's been sodden for at least sort of 3-4 days now, so I'm going to get it in the sun, get it nice and dry and pack it up. So to illustrate the speed that this thing can go at, it can keep up with narrow boats easily, and if I really wanted I could probably overtake, but I'm not sure I do. So yeah, pretty powerful for what it can do. I'm actually, if they were giving it a full welly, it may not be able to keep up, but then if this were optimised for power and some improvements made, then it probably could. I'm finding the limitations of this boat, and it's definitely side wind is a problem. So we've got quite going along at the edge of the Crown Estate here at Windsor, and the winds are shooting across their fields and out onto the river, and it's got to the point where I'm sort of bowing the oar, my stabilisation and steering oar, to try and keep it roughly going in a straight line. So definitely I'm leaning right over to counterbalance the wind acting on my sign and contraption at the back. So on balance, the sign at the back is actually rather good because it turns you into the wind, but it does make it quite hard going. In fact, I think it'd probably be harder going without it, wouldn't it? And we're finding that the gears are slipping more and more, especially when I put more power through when it's windy. So I need to make some adjustments and get that corrected before going forward. This is bed for the night. I've failed to find a decent camping spot, so this is going to have to do. This is all part of the design. So this front frame folds up around the rear hub, and then there's just enough space for me to sleep in the front there. Fingers crossed, A, it doesn't leak, and B, a boat doesn't come zooming past and cover me in wash. So yeah, there's a tree above, a nice willow tree, which should help keep off any sort of falling dew and dampness, but to be brutally honest, I suspect it's going to be quite cold and quite damp right this close to the water. But it's a nice warm evening, so it should do the trick. It's pretty comfy. Well, the bed is, but I'm not. I've been going for about 15 hours today, covered in sun cream, haven't showered, and I'm in a sleeping bag, and it's sticky. It's horrid. And to put the cherry on the on the cake, as it were, there's a duck roosting just above me who is threatening to poo on me, so it's going to be well, possibly a shitty night. We'll see. I want to take this time before going to sleep to make a request for anyone who's been watching this challenge and this journey to take some time, and assuming you have the means, then to donate to the two charities which we'll be supporting, which is the Lucy Rayner Foundation and Strong Men, both of which aim to try and catch people who would otherwise fall through the sort of NHS holes. And I suppose I wanted to say it's something which is quite close to my heart from personal experience of those around me, not my own necessarily, but from those around me who have had some difficulties, and knowing how easy it is to sort of sweep it under the carpet is one way of putting it, ignore it is another way of putting it, and just not really acknowledge it. And for the people going through a hard time, there sometimes isn't anyone competent to turn to, and that's why I think it's super important to have these charities out there who could be a point of call in your or mine time of need, really. So if you do have the time and you do have the means, please do head over to benkilner.com, and that will take you straight to a donations page where you can support. Just an update on the journey. I am about 10 miles from the end of this freshwater Thames, and beyond that is tidal Thames and waves and scary things, and so it's going to be exciting trying to get through London.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We've got a big swan coming in for some bird and breakfast. It's a bit daunting, to be honest. That neck can come right over the edge and take me right on the nose. We're yet to properly make friends. I think it's probably cupboard love. Beautiful creature.
This is a pretty momentous occasion. I think that is Teddington Lock just up ahead. That means I have reached the end of the freshwater Thames and we'll be hitting the tidal and salty section in about 5 minutes. So this has been one hell of a journey so far. I think it's around 137 miles from my start point to now, covered in 5 days, 5 and a bit days. So that's pretty stonking progress compared to a normal canoe. So this lovely beast is doing wonderful things. There we go, tidal Thames. Got my life jacket on. It's to be honest, it's quite calm. I think until up until Putney Bridge. So onwards. So I was about a mile into the saltwater Thames, and lo and behold, ahead of me I saw a Port of London Authority boat heading towards me with intent, and they hailed me over and we had a chat, and basically they said they weren't happy at all about me going through central London and out the other side, simply because it's too rough and too dangerous and that I don't have a qualified chaperone. So they asked me not to proceed and to leave my boat at Putney until I had a safety boat in tow. And then they gave me a number of a chap called Mark, just a Mark. I gave him a call, and then I was just pedalling down, and this bloke on a boat waved at me and said, "You just gave me a call." And I said, "Oh my God, that was you. What are the chances? What a small world." Anyway, Mark's busy for a few days and isn't free until Monday to chaperone me through. So I was all prepared to go and leave the boat in Putney, where it's relatively calm. And then the Port of London Authority boat came up, and so they had good news, and I'd been authorised by his boss basically to proceed. So at my own risk, I will be proceeding through what could potentially be some very, very choppy and nasty waters of central London and our sea. So fingers crossed. Let's see how we go. Passing on the Kew Bridge. Oh, this is a roller coaster, I'll tell you that. Had another call from the London Port Authority, another individual at the London Port Authority, who seemed to think that they would actually, in fact, not support or recommend me going through, despite me being told no and then yes again. So we'll see how we go. I'm due to be hearing back to see if they can support me through. We'll see what happens. Well, it's bad news. It's bad news. The London Port Authority have asked me to leave the river at Putney and to consult the draw on the advice of professional boat builders.
for future endeavours. Their primary concern is obviously for my safety. Bit concerning that I got a no and then a clear yes and then a clear no. So there's something not quite right there. However, yeah, that's really disappointing. So I suspect I'm going to have to go away and improve the buoyancy of the boat and come back and finish another day. How sad. Anyway, it's been an incredible journey up until this point. Absolutely amazing. And safety first and foremost. So, oh, gutted. Oh, I could have smashed it today. Anyway, onwards. I shall haul out at Putney, let them know I've left the river, and somehow try and get home. Thank you so much for everyone who supported. For anyone who hasn't yet and who has been considering doing it, please do. It's going to two amazing charities, the Lucy Rayner Foundation and Strongmen. And yeah, just hugely appreciated. They do an amazing job, and any support you can provide will be amazing. Thank you everyone. Watch this space for, well, next steps if there are any. Hopefully this thing can be made seaworthy. We'll see. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you.